Tonight, to celebrate the scariest night of the year, we found our scariest director in the world, and we're going to mourn his retirement. We're talking about Uwe Boll's Alone in the Dark. Stay with us. Pew!
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's video game movie anatomy.
Spooky!
It is spooky.
Let's hear some more of this.
Oh, yes.
Unnecessarily dramatic for the credit song for a weird final shot of Uwe Boll's 2005 classic Alone in the Dark, widely considered to be one of the worst movies ever made.
Yeah.
They're not exaggerating.
It's pretty bad.
You've gotten very liberal with your use of the word classic.
No, that's why I
know, right?
I got a little sick with it.
Yeah, it's
just like Uwe Boll got a little sick with this movie. Welcome to Video Game Movie Anatomy, where we break down the film adaptations from some of our favorite interactive media. I'm one of your hosts, and it's Mark B. Donica. You can find me on Twitter at Mark B. Donica, and tell me how ridiculous I look as Isaac G. Protoman, attorney at law. Joined also by a woman who wants more from this provincial life, Miss Stacey Shuttleworth.
For the record, you don't look that ridiculous.
I mean, this hat. I almost got my Protoman motorcycle helmet, but I couldn't find it.
Also doesn't work well with the headphones.
That too.
That would be a tough sell.
A little bit.
Anyways, I'm Stacey Shuttleworth. Today I'm Belle, but you can find me online at Stacey Shuttles on Twitter, or online and across the web, Twitter included, at Nerds Doing Stuff, where I'm a nerd doing stuff.
Yeah, you are. What's up, guys? It's Patrick Dees. You can find me on Twitter at P to the D's. I'm here to tell you in real life that you look ridiculous.
Thank you.
I'm dressed as a nerd who wants to spend the balance of his Halloween playing Titanfall 2.
Well, let's get through this, and then you'll be able to enjoy your night.
Perfect.
So,
The therapy.
I just want to get through this.
we're
Come on, we can
coming
do
here
it.
together. I want
We
to
can do it.
thank everybody who's joining us in the live chat for this evening of
Yes.
Halloween. We know you want to do a lot of stuff out there on Halloween, and joining us is it makes us feel good.
Yeah.
So we all decided to dress up for the occasion, Patrick included.
A lot of work
Yeah.
right here.
So Alone
Really
in
fun.
the
Don't wake up like this.
Alone in the Dark. It has a weird poster that kind of looks like Christopher Lee, like, decomposed, which is really weird.
You know now.
Now that you mention it?
Yeah.
Saruman.
Now that you mention it?
You
Yeah,
brought
just a
that
little
up.
bit.
Well,
But like that poster is emblematic for this whole like dumpster fire. Like what committee of people looked at that poster and went, "This is gonna sell tickets. Who's gonna not want to see that?" Yeah.
I really wish I could answer that question.
Right?
I just I can't.
Okay, how does that happen?
I have no idea why I have a small idea as to why they picked kind of an X-ray for it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't fit.
Nope.
All right, so for those of you who don't know, Alone in the Dark focuses on Edward Carnby, a detective of the paranormal. I'm a paranormal investigator who slowly unravels mysterious events with deadly results. Cheese and crackers. This awful. Like the movie starts and I'm like, I hate it. I hate it already.
Yeah,
Not good.
Zero T, like you can build a formula like 0 TH with 0 to hate, like in 0 TH equals 15 seconds or something. This movie broke me. Like I wanted to like call you guys mid-movie because we watch a lot of these and we come on here and we joke about how much we hate them. We have a good time. I literally was like,
There was no fun in hating this
right?
one.
What are you even doing? What am I doing with my
It was
life?
just sad.
Like, there are bad movies that you can find good in, that you can find something to enjoy out of. Doom.
Yes.
There's
absolutely.
something to enjoy.
Totally agree.
This, I think... you go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask, so like, and I don't know how much credence there is to this, or I want to give this theory, but like, I've heard for years that a big part of Uwe Boll's like directing ethos was to create box office bombs because of tax hole loops, and I don't know what that is. Always on the periphery of like, I don't know. It's one of those conspiracy theories I've always heard. They're intentionally bad as a tax loophole. This is the first one I actually just straight like legit believed that. There's something more to this than like, oh, the movie didn't pan out exactly how we thought, or like the Gleaming the Cube guy was like read the script and was like, yeah, that looks like something I should be in, and then it just didn't pan out. Like, this is just terrible start to finish.
So this one made you think it was on purpose.
Yes.
I mean, okay, yeah.
Yes.
This was one where it was a little bit tricky because the Alone in the Dark franchise has it comes from everywhere. The first game, when it came out in 1992, it was like pseudo-Victorian. It had to do a lot with Lovecraft. Was a bit of an inspiration. And then as it moved on, they tried to modernize it. The most recent. Did you play the one from last year?
I did not.
It is god awful.
That's what everybody said.
Like load up a game. HUD doesn't work. Load up a game, unlimited health, unlimited magic. For some reason, different people have different abilities.
Did you say magic?
Hold on. Wait, there's magic now?
There is a witch character. Let me make a proto point on this.
Yes.
There is a witch character that can shoot lightning. And there was a time where I opened it up and I was like, yeah, I can just lightning these weird mutant monsters.
Yep.
Another time, I was like, oh, I have an MP bar. I have a bar for this that doesn't recharge. Well, that's no fun. And then it's awful. So, like, sometimes your controls don't work. I don't know if they've updated it. It's a
weird bargain basement license, I feel like, that somebody must have gotten a hold of. Like, early on, like, I played this on computer in, like, the 92. Like, it was kind of like, it was on the precipice of that, like, fixed camera kind of eerie environment. So you'd enter an environment and your character would move as it relates to that character, that fixed camera. Like, to your point, like, a lot of, like, Lovecraftian and Geiger influences, like, really interesting kind of stuff.
You can tell the Geiger in this one.
A little bit.
In the movie,
yeah. And so, like, as a kid, like, again, went into this way too optimistically. I'm like, oh yeah, really fond memories of a kid in front of my computer.
Just thrashed.
Yeah. Just burning my childhood.
Very, very unfortunate.
Throw it in the dumpster fire.
So let's start out with one of our games, which we call a speed run. It is a quick review of the movie, something you would find on the back of the box at your local GameStop, Best Buy, Target, what have you. For example, Mortal Kombat has a cheesy script but nails the spirit of the game, something quick, to the point, and is a definitive statement about the film. We actually got some quick ones. Why don't we start with Patrick since he's laughing?
I know. Look at him go.
No. By way of tradition, I'd like you to go first. Actually, I'm just laughing because I feel like so many times that we've broken tradition. Like, we sit over here and you and I write like essays, on things, and we both were like, fuck, nothing's worth like this. Nope. So anyway, I just like, it's just to continue. Like, I feel like our speedruns are as broken as this movie. Why don't you go first if you have it?
All right, here we go. If you're ever thinking about sitting down to watch Alone in the Dark, just remember that you like yourself more than that.
It gets better. We're a PSA for people and things being better.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So mine's a little bit longer, but it's still orders of magnitude shorter than the first draft, in which I was I just needed to vent and get all my hate.
Why?
It's all scratched into the walls at my house. I
saw you make the notes on the Google Doc, just like, oh, why, God,
why?
It was weird that Google, like, the doc says, like, write in your own blood option, but it was just, it was there. I took advantage. Okay, so I've got.
It's one of those Halloween exclusive features.
It is. It's Google and their tricks, their shenanigans. All right, my speed run. This filmic adaptation of the popular video game series Alone in the Dark comes ever so close to being one of those movies that's just so bad it's good. But in the end, it's bad. It's just so bad. Some doors are meant to stay shut, Tara Reid says at one point. And to that, we might add, some game properties aren't meant to be made into movies.
This is one of the ones where you have hope. It's so widespread and thinly spread with its source material that you could probably do something great with it.
And I'll tell you,
you're not Uwe Boll.
I think too, the name Alone in the Dark with a kick-ass poster sells tickets. Like, that's a great kind of right. Like, it's a great title for a film. And if you had a really catchy poster, you go, I want to see, like, found footage, Alone in the Dark, something like
if you
Blair
made
Witchy,
horrifying.
Yes.
There was nothing scary.
To that, I think I was hoping for something like Outlast. Like, if anybody's played the Outlast, which is literally you see the game through a camera and through night vision, and is beyond terrifying.
Whole lot of nope when playing that game. Whole lot nope.
Do you play the Outlast 2 demo?
No, I haven't yet.
Horrifying ending.
No.
Like, I hate those games, but the ending, especially for men, is pretty terrifying.
Enough said.
That's hint alone.
That mechanic that you have in Outlast when you're completely disempowered, right? You can't do anything to fight back. You have to run and then the button to look behind you.
Yes.
That's not okay.
And you can hide.
Yeah. It's just not like you see this thing barreling down. Yeah, just.
Really quick quickly, we've got Star Drew in the chat mentioned, come on, it has to be better than the Silent Hill movie. Silent Hill had some great ideas and some great visuals.
But we talked a little bit about how ambitious that is. This
Yes.
movie is not ambitious.
Awesome ideas. This
Yeah,
total
no,
different story.
I agree. That's
Total
one again that you
story.
could look at and say, okay, like with some different execution, that had a lot of promise. Start to finish, this is a dumpster fire.
Nothing here.
No.
Nothing to see
So for
here.
mine, I would like everybody put your hands together and
Yes.
pray. For a movie called Alone in the Dark, it is too well lit and never leaves us alone. It will haunt your dreams for the waste of time that it is. May God have mercy on your soul.
God have
Amen,
mercy on
hallelujah,
your
praise
soul.
be Jesus.
Amen. Praise be to the duster wife beater combo of Christian Slater. Goddamn. All right, so this is going to be most of the show. We're going to do controller toss moments. It's that moment when you're watching the film and you silently or loudly have a "you have got to be kidding me" and you wing your controller against the wall. My controller was in pieces by the end of this film. Let's try to keep it light.
Yeah.
Because we could be here at this all night.
We could.
Who wants to go first? Because we probably have a lot that we share.
I'm just gonna say the minute that Christian Slater shows up, and I realized that this is one of those. Oh, I'm gonna have to tell somebody about these movies, isn't it? Right? Like when he jumps into the from the jump when Slater shows up, I was like, what are we even doing here?
From that moment,
Yep.
the little kid next to him, first of all, clearly like 10, like not super young.
Oh, I know.
And his line, which is not one of my favorite lines because I hate it. So Christian Slater wakes up from a nightmare, and the kid says, "My mommy says it's okay to be scared of the dark." It's clearly day, and we're on a plane.
Yeah.
That doesn't work. Yeah, well, your mom doesn't know shit. Or whatever he said. Who cares?
No, it's exactly what
No,
he said. And he's like, "Shut your mouth, Mom. You're wrong about the dark." It
Mom's
was a little
asleep.
intense. I know.
Elbows his mom. Mom, this guy says you're wrong.
Shakes the shit out of her. Wake up. Yeah, it was
You're
a little.
wrong.
The air marshal got involved. That's a movie I would watch.
Go.
Yeah, I know, but
Already going in a better direction.
I totally agree. Except that psychopath that chases him in a taxi. Can we talk about the taxi ride?
Hold on. Let's talk about
Please, thank
Stacey's
you.
first, and then
Please.
we'll come back.
Well, we'll save the taxi for a minute then. So I think one of the most ridiculous, where I was like, hold on, is this the kind of freaking movie we're in for? Is when it's we're at the orphanage and they're discussing the children going missing. They're taking the 20 kids and they're like, oh, just tell the cops that 20 kids just disappeared. No big deal.
And the nun goes along with
And
it.
she's like,
I know.
okay. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do that.
She got what was
will
coming
do
to her,
that.
though.
What?
You sh-
What?
I don't think she was.
Look.
I want to see if the whole thing took place at the orphanage and there was darkness and you had kids in danger. It could have been something a little bit spooky. It would have been a lot cheaper to make.
Sure.
But damn, that nun.
Well, but
Come on, sister.
it starts off though, it starts off ridiculous and then just escalates. The movie literally starts on a wall of exposition that was so long I thought it was a joke.
That's
I genuinely
the
thought it was a
sign.
fake trailer for something. I didn't understand. I was like, why? What? Wait, what?
No,
It still just keeps
that's-
going and
that's
going.
all they're going to tell you about the lore, and then you're just going to have to pretend it exists in the rest of the movie.
I mean, apparently, but
It was supposed to establish Professor Lionel Hudgens
Yes.
as our villain, presumably, and somebody of note. If not opening the giant gold box. Also, the guy on the boat who unlocked the gold box is like, get out of here. This box made a solid gold. I'm going to sell this. My favorite character. The most logical person in the world.
the
Have
only
the most
motivations
logic.
that I understand from the
True.
jump. Okay, I get that guy.
At
this-
least we knew what he wanted.
Yes.
Yeah. And even then, the guy's like, "Nope, I just need this little gimmick." And I was like, "You're still leaving a gold box on now a vacated boat. Someone's gonna find that and become a millionaire. I want to be that person." It's like,
I want you to
There's
be
your
that person too.
motivation.
Yeah, these people are bloody. Well,
there's
I
a
got
gold
this
box.
golden window seat
cool.
filled with a single thing, a single creature of darkness.
Yeah.
Akani.
Oh,
Was
yeah,
the- was the-
I never
No,
would have
no,
remembered that. Yeah,
But
Akani-
Akani was the culture,
Was the
not the
That
monsters.
discovered the monsters.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we never got a name for the monsters.
Nothing.
Nope.
Nothing.
The darkness.
Kill me.
It was just this
Alone
great
in the dark.
unknown that we were supposed to understand, and no reason to understand it.
And speaking of the orphanage, I shouted at my television when we return to it and see the sign out front that says Our Lady of Perpetual Light. Fuck you, man! Don't Don't be so goddamn on the... Just like Mary Clarence or
don't do
our
that.
Holy Mother. Perpetual light in a movie called Alone in the Dark. Fuck you.
Real dumb.
Man,
Look,
this movie gets me real angry.
I feel like, though, every casting decision, every camera angle, every sound effect was all a dare to see if I turn it off. Every one of those was like, is he going to turn it off with this one?
How long are people going to make it through?
Is it how long you turn it off now? No, you don't understand. I have to do a dumb YouTube show about this trash, so I've got to finish it. Stop it, Uwe Boll.
What else we got? Let's talk about a couple more. Before we talk about the quote-unquote plot.
I was gonna make a motion to just dismiss that part of our show entirely.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's necessary.
Wait, plot?
A little
What is
bit.
this plot you speak of?
I don't
I'm all
understand.
ears.
Well, a little bit. Well, when we get there, but we're in our controller test on that. So let's get there when we get there.
Oh, please take us through the taxi.
Patrick, take us there. I want to go there.
Yeah, we do.
I loved the taxi scene for so many reasons.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is the moment when I was teetering on the, is it so bad I'm going to really like this? Or is it just unadulterated garbage? When he gets in the cab and the cab driver's like, dude, bro, what do you do for a living, you know? And the guy, like Christian Slater's like, in his like one note, like morose, you don't really want to know. Like, would you do the better Slater impression?
You don't really want to know.
That's really...
It's like Jack Nicholson, but younger.
It was,
and
yeah.
on a little bit of helium.
So Mr. Robot's in the back of the car, and the cab driver is all about like, no, this is the best part of my shitty job is to understand what people do for a living. He then gives a really bad explanation that he's like a paranormal,
Paranormal investigator.
which the guy kind of gets enthusiastic
"All right,
about. All right.
Cool.
Immediately,
What does
and he
that
goes,
mean?
speaking of unusual, great segue there,
beautiful
Robot.
segue.
He mentions that the cab has been following them for however long.
And then all of a sudden,
You want me to lose him? That'd be
Dude,
great.
but the gusto with which he goes,
I wouldn't mind.
fuck yeah, I'll lose him.
He is
Like, have you ever
into
been in a
it.
cab in Los Angeles? Like, there's no way.
He was
they'd be like,
tripping
no, you're
balls.
fucking crazy. I'm not like...
I mean, first of all, you're crazy because nobody's stalking us, Mr. Paranormal
Like, chill,
Activity.
dude, chill.
Right. Or now he'd be in an Uber in which he would actually have like mints and Xanax to hand you and be like, you're good.
Take one of these, just
It was-
sit back, relax.
The guy was
Yep.
so into it, and then once it actually starts happening, and he just gets bumped a little bit. Oh, it's my
no.
cab!
What did you think was going to happen?
We get 5 seconds for this cab chase to really start to escalate, and then they're flying everywhere, hitting each other.
Then he gives him one, hey, you're right, and then just totally books it and leaves him. And then we get the weirdest fight scene. This large man, for some reason, they're just fighting, and nobody has a gun like a normal person, which seems a little weird to me for me to point out.
But if you're that big guy, wouldn't you be a little intimidated of a guy looking just like that out of like Jean-Claude Van Damme from Hard Target?
Wife
Like
beater
I would
duster?
see him, yeah, I'd be like, not fucking with him.
Like, I'd see the
Hands
duster
off.
from behind and go,
Nope.
maybe I have a chance. And then when he turns around and I see the strips, I'd be like, I don't know if I can handle this.
No,
bro.
right? Like you look at that guy
Too
and like
much.
that's a life decision. That guy woke up in the morning and consciously put that on. I'm out. I'm not gonna mess with him. I mean,
This is a very valid point.
I just wouldn't pick a fight with that freak.
My note, 100% in my notes. Wife beater and a duster? Come on. Direct
Yeah.
quote. Also, back in the cab. Man, we don't have enough time to talk about this movie. He's like, I'm a paranormal investigator. You don't have to believe me. Or no. And before he gets in the cab, the VO is just like, you don't have to believe me. But whatever. It's like, oh, I don't have to believe him. Then I'm not invested in this movie whatsoever.
Check.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, you weren't very believable
Yeah,
to begin
Mission
with.
accomplished. He finally picks up a gun. And
Lifts it off a cop.
lifts it off a cop. Dangerous.
Smooth.
Very dangerous. Actually, before this,
It's like, now you see me.
So he escapes through a door, and the dude, I actually like this, and this is a moment where I was like, am I actually gonna like this movie?
Yeah.
Where he's like, he's gonna be at the window, just bolts through the window,
Yes.
grabs him, and takes him down, and immediately taken out.
Yeah.
Where Christian Slater kips up, kicks the thing out of his hand, back in a standing position.
Oh, yeah.
Lands right in his hand. That like little jump kick
Got it.
kicks the artifact.
Beautiful.
So cash.
Awful.
Oh.
Awful.
was awful.
And so he shoots him once in the heart, no effect.
No.
Why did they use all of the CG on the second gunshot through the eyes? You see the bullet leaving the chamber. Why the second shot?
I don't know. I was wondering the same thing too. I don't. Yep.
Just to mix things up a
I
little
guess.
bit.
I mean, no.
To make sure you're paying attention, like, oh crap,
Was the second one?
what's happening?
Oh, he already got shot once. Hold on, what? Yeah. No.
I have one more. How many more do you have?
Oh, you know.
Because I can talk about this
I
for
mean,
a while.
really, the movie is a giant controller. So, like, again, this is really where this had kind of over the, this might be something dumb enough I enjoy,
Yeah.
which was the very on the nose, same fight, flashes on that spike thing that he ultimately falls to his death on.
Yeah.
But it's so, like, cut to freeze,
Look at this.
cut back to fight. Like, God, I wonder where this fight's going.
Oh, no idea.
No,
No
yeah.
idea.
I will say his apartment's pretty badass. Can we just say that
that loft?
whole, like...
Property, loft, like
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Whatever.
Oh god, the sex scene. Like the second the scene started and I heard the music, I just went, I'm gonna skip this.
No.
Because I know
As soon as
exactly
she
what's
like
happening.
walks in the room, I'm like, oh wait. She like starts to crawl into the bed, and I'm like, no, we don't.
Like
We
grabs at her
don't need
pants.
this.
Nope, done.
What?
So,
Like-
A, totally creepy, but B, I also skipped it because I was so anxious to get to the credits. I was like, at this point, I was like, come on, just anything I can shave. And I knew that you wouldn't be like, 30 seconds into the sex scene, Patrick, tell me about that moment. I knew that wasn't going to come up on the exam, which is today. So I was like, fucking straight through it. Nope.
Go.
That was a smart
Gotta-
choice.
Yeah,
you gotta
it
know what
was
to watch.
Just fast
2
forward
minutes
that
I got back
garbage.
in my life. It's pretty great.
And nothing says hot like a Tara Reid, Christian Slater sex scene.
Can we talk about Tara Reid?
Let's talk
for
about
a
Tara
second?
Reid. It's, person with half a name, Aline.
Aline.
Not Carolyn, no, just Aline.
Aline. Yeah. That's really
It's
great.
edgy.
Quick question.
Cool.
Does she have to analyze the artifacts? She only said the line like 9 times.
I have to analyze this artifact.
I need to analyze this. Yeah, I get it. You're like you're a assistant curator. I get it. Right? You're supposed to be smart. Like her lines were the scariest part of the movie, called
man.
"Alone in the Dark." What are we doing with her in this film? I don't think there's anybody, save maybe Stephen Dorff, who probably is the best part of this film.
I love me some Dorff.
Me too.
You got a solid Dorff.
Long live that man. Like,
Olive Dorff.
yes.
LLD.
But I don't understand what she's doing.
She's the love
No.
interest.
But she's also.
We need the hot
psychologist.
woman in this movie.
Obviously.
We need
Is she analyzing the artifact?
She has to analyze
I
the
know.
artifacts.
But yeah,
The movie wouldn't go anywhere if she didn't analyze the artifacts.
I had a problem with her, and then I will say, again, controller toss, but I get it back. I'm like, can't be mad at your controller. Security guard Bob, who's
I love
incredibly in the loop about shit.
Yeah.
That guy knows a lot of what's going on.
Really does.
Yeah, I feel like he should have been the narrator who read that exposition at the beginning. Because if Bob had been explaining it to me, and then it cuts to Bob at the end, he goes, and that ends the story of being alone in the dark, I would have really
You know
liked
what?
this movie. If it was all his story.
I could have handled that.
Spoiler alert,
Yeah.
sequel's all about Bob.
Just sign me up.
It
Well,
is
all
not.
right, I guess we're watching that.
No, we're watching it because Lance Henriksen is in it, and I love him. But it's also supposedly it's supposed to be better than the original, and Uwe Boll is less involved in it.
Look,
So-
this is better than the original. This moment right now
Right
is
now?
better than the original. And Uwe Boll had nothing to
This
do with
moment
this.
in time.
This is
I mean,
true.
indirectly, I suppose he did.
Stacey, do you have one?
Well, okay, so this was the kind of movie where after several controller tosses, I just left my poor controller there.
Yep.
You know what? It doesn't need to go through the abuse.
Put it away.
Yeah.
But we got to the end. I had to get up and go get that poor controller
So you could throw it again.
just so I could throw it
The
again.
abuse is real.
And you know, it was kind of a couple of quick succession throws.
Yeah.
Just
No, it's
Just
crack,
just-
crack, throw,
I mean,
impale the
can't
TV.
quit
I need a
you.
new TV. This sucks.
I mean, just that whole
like
ending.
just
What-
the
what
ending when they're
moment?
walking, the when they're walking through the deserted
They're
city.
walking through the deserted city. First off, it says city evacuated. Did I miss something? Were there any clues that they were
No, because
evacuating
No.
the
all of
city?
the kids were gone again.
No.
Sister Clara was dead.
Right.
And then they said city evacuated.
Did they mean
Oh, good.
deserted, or did they mean someone actually went and evacuated the city? Because then they made this reference to how like the Abkhani people disappeared, so the same thing was happening again. So
But
did
an
they mean evacuated?
Yeah, I mean, evacuate's a controlled thing, right?
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
like that's.
So, or did
Everybody
they
get out.
disappear?
Yeah, I agree. Was,
So it was very confusing and didn't make any sense.
was it the Rapture? It is shot in
It was The
Vancouver,
Darkness.
and they are better than us in
Also,
Canada.
they used the same shot as they did in Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil 1, whatever. It's blurring together at this point.
Driving across the bridge?
No, not driving across the bridge. Coming out of that building, that center.
Oh, yeah.
They used the same
Yep.
shot of them coming out, except it was during the day instead of during the night. That's what happens when you keep using the couve.
The couve.
You got to change it up.
You know,
Solid
cool
couve.
kids are calling it the couve.
Yeah, that's why I call it the couve.
I
'cause
know.
I'm the coolest.
You are obviously. Hat would demonstrate that.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you don't need to tell
On
us.
top of it.
So my last one was near the end when the assault, when all of the monsters of darkness were assembling on our crack spot or whatever, our crack squad of people with light bullets, and then one of the and there's a small team down below. One of the guys on the team down below gets killed. The Asian guy who looks really familiar.
Oh, yeah.
Almost kind of like he looks kind of like Glenn from Walking Dead, but and that's not meant to connect anything. But then when they cut back to the surface, there's a close up of a guy getting attacked. That's the same actor that just died down below.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that.
Unless they were
missed
trying,
that.
unless they were trying to cut back and forth from the action, bro dead. But his twin brother is up on the surface,
Apparently.
dying again.
Maybe
Yeah.
Uwe couldn't tell the difference. Maybe he's just a racist. Think they all look the same.
Uwe Boll?
Yeah,
Probably.
Just felt
It's
like,
hey,
you know what? You just
get up there,
feel-
go. No one will know.
I do. So, jumping off of that, I really
on.
like that when they get to the door that's not supposed to be opened.
Oh, right.
This is a great
Oh.
moment. This is a great
think I
moment
know,
because
yep.
Stephen, like, Christian Slater has the option of like finding out behind this door is everything I've been searching for my entire life, and I love that Dorff literally looks at him and goes, well, what do you want to do? Like the nicest, like they've been antagonistic the
What?
entire
No,
time,
like,
and all of a sudden he's like, yeah, well, so what do you want to do? It's just amazing. I was like, oh, okay, here's Dorff, just really,
You know.
Here's Dorff.
yeah.
This Wednesdays at 8 on ABC. Here's Dorff.
But, and they go from like
watch that.
they seriously contemplated opening the door, right?
yeah.
Like there was a moment
He was ready to open that
ready to
door.
open it, and
They
we
put
were
it
all
on there.
okay with it
And it was like, okay.
until Dr. Psycho goes to open the door, and they're like, "Are you fucking kidding me? What are you doing?
Don't
We just
open
decided
the
not to open the door."
I believe the quote is, "Don't be insane. Don't open that door."
like we
You
were
know-
gonna
You were gonna open
35
the door.
seconds ago.
and
gonna do that.
even
you.
after that, don't be insane. Don't open the door. Well, since it's open, we should probably go in.
Right? Well, it's open now.
Let's see what's inside. Catacombs of not. I mean, they call them Xenos, but
Yeah, they sure
not
They sure do.
xenomorph aliens, but they call them Xenos for some reason.
They sure do.
There's
Original.
way too much.
What's the line
Goddamn.
about? And again, I'm going to butcher this, but there's a line in the film where they talk about like where there's evil, there's a door, or something. You build a door. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh.
No.
Again, I don't know why you'd build a door. Just build a wall. I don't know. Like, yeah.
Build a door.
Like from Beetlejuice?
That's a good
Sure.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, all right.
Okay.
Like
It's-
draw a door?
Literally
I like it.
draw
Yeah,
a door.
I like it.
Maybe. Really quickly, Star Drew in the chat says, "Screw it, I'm going to watch this movie." It's like, you know.
At your own risk.
You
Look,
like yourself more than this.
just
Also-
come back
really
and tell us the
do.
parts. What were your controller toss moments? That's what I want
We
to
have
know.
one
All
in the
right,
chat.
Okay, what is it?
Rob S in the chat says, "The bullet in the apartment."
Oh my God.
That one made me throw the controller. Which one specifically?
So, okay, there is a point, and he rewound this to make sure that I saw it.
By the way, Rob S is your husband, Robert Shuttleworth.
Yes. So it's a point where they're in the loft fighting all the monsters, and
I'll be honest,
let me see.
I skipped through a lot of that too.
Didn't miss much, but like he was
No,
incredibly
came
calm
out
about.
of friggin' nowhere.
He's incredibly calm about having his place shot to shit, though.
And I think
yeah,
that's why
no
Dorff
thanks.
is nice to him. He's like, well, we did kind of
We
mess up
did
your
really
screwed
fuck
your
up
up
your.
sweet
everything.
love.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
he's-
whatever.
He's just jealous. He just starts shooting stuff like way long after the Xenos are gone. Just
No problem. So, okay, so Burke has been like captured by one of the Xenos, and or no, by one of the
The kids.
yeah, one of
Yes,
the orphans.
One of the orphans.
Okay, and so someone yells, "Hey, Burke!" and shoots at the orphan, and you can see the bullet, the little shot of light, go up into the ceiling behind him,
But he's still.
and then the orphan goes flying backwards.
oh,
Just beautiful.
that's pretty great.
Just beautiful.
That's also dumb for a couple of reasons. Because straight up, Dorff's life is on the line, but he takes some slate and Mr. Robot straight up calls it out, puts his life at risk so he can be like to showboat, right? Like, yo, dog, I got this. I'm gonna shoot this guy, save your ass, and just like.
I actually do think is understandable in a situation where you can eliminate a threat. Everybody else's lives don't matter. If you stop the threat, then that is better. If I'm in the way, shoot through me to kill that thing. That makes sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me why he would miss and still die, but who knows?
No.
Goodness gracious. All right. So,
but I wouldn't want you, if my life was about to be taken by some threat, I would really not want you to go, yo, Dees, what up? I'm about to save you, and then shoot the guy. Just ace him and then go, hey, later. I don't know if you remember earlier when you were about to get eaten and that guy he was right about to munch your neck. I shot him, and I'd be like, thanks, high five, Mark. Like,
that's different.
Go.
We're not soldiers. We're not in a government program where you're supposed to eliminate that stuff. That is the only conceit that I'll have. Still really stupid, but I think it makes sense.
All right.
So the very little bit of the quote unquote plot, because there isn't one, is they're trying to stop monsters, creatures of darkness from inhabiting the earth, and there was some experimentation with weird not alien things that are totally alien things, that get on your spine and sort of make you superhuman.
Yeah.
This was a really dumb sci-fi. They just copied Alien and Doom, for that matter, in just bad. Like not an original thought, not an original actor, not an original line. None of this movie was good. God damn. And
what was it trying to do? Like, it wasn't trying to be scary, and it wasn't.
No, it didn't go for anything remotely scary.
No.
There was no creepiness to it at all. It read more just like an attempt at an action sci-fi, and did that poorly.
without the sci.
Well, without the sci, yeah, without a plausible lore or world.
The science
building
was
of
archaeology.
Any kind.
That was it. The science was archaeology.
But not even.
No, the science was whoever built the computer program to read the Abkhani language.
Pretty great.
And totally like 3D scan
Yeah,
on
pretty
like
great.
Windows
Sure.
95.
I love the UI. I'm not gonna lie.
Whatever, man. Okay,
This is my favorite part. I love fake UIs in film. Yeah.
Amazing.
A lot of work went
Jurassic
into
Park
that.
is one of my favorites. That whole UI is pretty good. This is a Unix system. I know this. So Uwe Boll wanted to pull as much from the from the different games as possible. Edward Carnby is kind of the linchpin. He's always been the main character, so they're trying to keep that. But trying to pull things from, and I'm going to gesture with my my cannon arm, pull a little bit from the Victorian era, a little bit from the PC era, excuse me, and then this came out right before the PS3 and Xbox 360 one that was supposed to reboot the franchise, and I'll never forget that game. That was the game that nobody ever bought at my GameStop when I was working there.
Oh, really?
We had so many copies of Alone in the Dark because the Xbox 360 one was actually super buggy and just you couldn't play it, and then the PS3 version that came out later was a lot better technically speaking, but people just couldn't get into it. But I think trying to fit too much into this movie was one of the few problems.
Few?
I mean, they're small problems, but they exist throughout the entire movie, so I guess that means they're big problems. But.
Look, this movie broke me. I know usually we'll find a silver lining, and I think we talked about Silent Hill the other day. But it's incredibly ambitious and some really great narrative themes and there's nothing about. There's not a redeeming quality. Not one.
No.
I mean, not
really not.
Not even literally the best part about it is that it ends. I can't.
And bizarrely,
but that was even terrible.
I know.
Weird fast forward, just Christian Slater turning around, turn around.
The ending was so bad that it almost made me I'm sitting there and I was like, no, that cannot be how it. Like at that point, I almost would have watched more for it to not have been that ending.
Wow.
Why don't you do this? Headcanon, they got killed.
Fine.
And
Everyone's
they're done.
dead.
No,
We're
that's
done.
how it ends in my mind.
That's
Carnby got what's coming to him.
Only
for
justification.
being.
And also, Bright Outside, why are they around?
Also, secondary theory, is it the cab driver that gets him?
Ooh.
Yeah,
You
like he
wrote
turns
that
around
down.
and he just turns around and a cab hits him at 85 miles an hour and he's just smoked right there. He's just a middle of Canada.
Head canon accepted.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's it.
All right.
Canon.
Jeez.
See what you did there, Mark?
So, needless to say, this movie is considered one of the worst movies ever made. It has an IMDb score of 2.3 out of 10. Surprisingly high. Rotten Tomatoes score, 1%. 1% critic score, and amazingly, 10% audience score. Way too high, but follows the tradition that the audience score for video game movies is higher than the critic score.
I just want to meet the person who went, it was all right.
There was
you know what?
one positive review on Rotten Tomatoes.
I am all ears. Could you
But
please?
Stacey, I will.
I saw a relatively good one.
Yeah.
And it was a positive rating.
So can you break it down? What is the gist
And-
of it? Because I avoid all of
Oh no,
those coming into
I'll
this.
tell you exactly what the positive rating was.
Thank
It was
you.
not very long. It was just to make the guy who made this movie feel better.
Dot, dot, dot.
That was the one that I saw.
You don't deserve that. He probably still wanted to box that guy. Michelle Alexandra from Eclipse Magazine says, Alone in the Dark isn't going to set the world on fire. Wish it did. But it largely succeeds with what it has to work with.
No.
Just don't take it seriously, and you'll have a fun time.
No, you won't.
Wholeheartedly
No, you won't.
disagree.
No.
I respect your opinion. We respect all opinions
I
here at the Popcorn
don't.
Talk.
I don't respect her opinion.
But you should
Disagree
probably
I don't speak
heavily.
for the network,
You
but I
should-
definitely don't.
should quit your job. This
Yeah,
this
it's
was
just- yeah.
10 years ago. So she hopefully isn't working for Eclipse. I mean,
No.
magazines.
You know?
Magazines aren't really a thing anymore.
Moved on to bigger and better things.
Though,
Or not.
Scott Brown says, when the giant, intelligent bees of the future sift through the ashes of our civilization, they will find Alone in the Dark, and they will understand. It's so bad, it's postmodern.
Oh.
So
good.
they're going to see Alone in the Dark and go, oh, that's how it happened.
They just.
This is a chronicling of it, and it's all thanks to Stephen Dorff, Christian Slater, and Tara Reid.
Again, I don't know. Like, again.
Das Vidania.
No.
Like, at what point? Like, so is that. So walk me through.
That was for you. Don't worry about it.
Walk-
We're talking about something different.
Walk-
We're just born to make history.
Walk me through, if you're Christian Slater, like, had he been working up to this point, right? Like, pump up the volume. I mean, the guy works pretty consistently, but, like, what was a major thing he'd done around this?
This type of stuff, where leading badass, he's trying to be the action hero, take any opportunity that he can.
I feel like Broken Arrow was what?
That was before this.
Several years, 99, 98?
That
So,
was
like,
definitely his best try.
I couldn't agree more. That movie's just.
Hard Rain?
No,
could
I think we
skip-
nailed it with Broken Arrow.
I think
No, I
Broken
mean, like,
Arrow
I'm just
is-
saying another one where he tried, but
Yeah.
I think Broken Arrow is definitely his best.
It's his
Yeah.
best movie. It's objectively like a great movie, and if you disagree, I'll fight you. Like, that movie's amazing. I'm sorry, John Travolta's like theme music. Every time he walks on, it's incredible.
That was the one where I watched it thinking that it was Face Off, but I was happy when it wasn't.
I mean, anything John Woo. Let's
Yeah.
just throw that out. If John Woo directed this, I'd watch a John Woo Alone in the Dark.
Okay.
I would watch a John Alone in the Dark.
It's Christian Slater and some Xenos and just doves going everywhere. This Mexican standoff. Yeah. I'd
And the
watch
Xenos
that.
have guns.
Yeah,
Infinitely
totally.
better.
Why
Infinitely
don't they? Face off.
I mean, we can't really disagree with those. I mean, we
No.
can disagree with the positive one.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm surprised that there was even one on the website.
Yeah, me too.
Let's talk about favorite lines.
Yes.
We already mentioned a bunch
We did.
in our
True.
controller toss. I had one that I loved for the fact that that we watched this movie now instead of a couple years
Lay
ago.
it on
that
me.
wouldn't work.
All right.
How long do we have to hold them? And if this was made like this past year,
Yeah.
I would have had the actor turn to the camera. How long do we have to hold them? Until dawn. Wink. Because of Until Dawn, the PlayStation 4
Right.
game. And that is a much better plot than this, and it's much more cinematic, and it has more recognizable actors, and we're just talking about the guy from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But I love that line because of today, of what that means to us
Okay.
today.
Sure, but isn't the response like, that's like 4 hours from now? Like some stupid, like, okay,
is
great.
really bad.
Hey, welcome to Clocks, dude.
Yeah.
Welcome to.
Amazing.
Pre-Coldplay, man.
Real good. Oh,
That was one of mine.
you are on fire.
How about y'all?
I have a list. I kind of fucked this one up. I wrote down a bunch of quotes, and I don't know who to attribute them to.
Lay it
So
on us?
I'll
That's
just
even
read
better.
them, and you can tell me when it happened and where. I just was like, I had my note app in my phone going, oh gosh. Okay, so the first one is, Just because you can't see something doesn't mean it can't kill you, which I believe is Carnby.
I think that was
Carnby. Fear is what protects you from the things that you don't believe in.
That was also
Another
Carnby.
Yes, it was. He had some gems.
I don't remember this one. This is pretty great though. There is no malfunction. These are accurate readings.
Oh.
I think
Yes, that was in the 713.
that was one of the
The agents.
one of the one who's on the comms. I forgot her name.
Okay.
But-
Two more. I've got it's all in the details, right? Oh, great line. Like really just quality. And my favorite one, without a doubt, is Burke Dorff yells, "This isn't happening. It doesn't make any sense." Which to me was kind of emblematic of the whole movie.
That was
I
improv.
related to that.
It was
That was improv.
just like,
it wasn't even in the script.
this doesn't make any sense. He's like he's calling to some like a best boy or
Why
a
am I
gaffer. Like this
here?
doesn't make any sense. What are we doing? Cut.
They liked it so much
Yeah.
they just kept
They
it.
just cut off his.
We'll make it.
Cry for help.
I'll put it in the movie. I'll edit it and make it make sense.
It was really good.
It's not
was-
how he talks
it's
at
pretty
all.
all right.
How about y'all?
Well, so going back to our lovely cab driver, one line we didn't mention, he makes this comment, "You travel light." Pretty sure it was the cab driver.
Yeah,
right.
you travel
and,
light.
And Christian Slater's response, of course, "I carry enough baggage for the both of us."
And then he laughs at that.
Oh, you sick fuck! Get out of my cab.
Yeah. All right. Bye. Like no.
Yeah, well, you can take that bag
Yeah.
out of my cab.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
God.
Again, you just want to like give him an 800 number hotline. Be like, you're not right. There are people who can talk to you about that, Christian.
I'm not
Yeah.
okay.
You know.
A lot of
No.
My Chemical Romance. Whole lot of goodness. Linkin
Aye.
Park. Did anybody have any others? Because we just talked about them a lot
I just
during
wanted-
the morning. During the front. It's been that long.
Oh, so I really enjoyed what the Abkhani warning.
Oh, which
said.
was?
It just it's a work of art.
Okay.
A literary masterpiece.
Shout out
okay.
to Tara Reid.
Once you make it down here alive, you're already
Already
dead.
dead.
Where was that tagline?
Boom.
That should have been the tagline for the whole damn movie.
Just killed it.
Yeah. Once you're there, you're already dead.
But it
Then
wasn't
Steven's
even,
like, this
it,
doesn't make any sense.
It wasn't like
This
once
doesn't-
you make it down here, you're already dead. They had alive it. Once you make it down here alive, you're already dead.
Well, no,
Like,
because if you made it down there dead, you'd be dead.
Are you guys sure that's really supposed
You
to say
know,
that on the wall? I don't
Are you
think-
mistranslating that?
I don't think you know.
maybe she
so-
doesn't actually know how to translate the language. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what's going
She just
on.
wants to
Faking
belong.
it.
She just wants to belong.
Making
Tara Reid
shit up
pull-
the entire movie.
I think it's just I'm gonna analyze the ruins. If you make it, that yeah.
But I
Yeah,
can also
no.
imagine the Abkhani just being like, Dave, that's really morbid. Why would you write that?
Somebody's gonna find it.
Yeah, that's not cool. Sorry, Bill.
Classic Dave.
Classic Dave.
Classic Dave.
It's always Dave.
It's always.
Because we're running out of time, let's run through this. We're going to recast the movie from the year it first came out. The
Yes,
game came
we
out,
are.
1992. We're going to be recasting Edward, Aline, Richard, and Professor Lionel. Let's start out with Professor Lionel. I only have one.
Look, guys, I didn't want to do this to any actors. I just. It
I
was
mean,
hard.
this movie can't be made in 1992 because it's an amalgamation of all of the other ones, but screw it. We'll just
right.
make it the easy way.
Carry on.
I said Anthony Hopkins for Professor Lionel.
Ah!
Oh!
Bingo was his name. Oh, that's what I got too. I was watching me some Westworld, and I was like, you know who would play that better? Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
All
Yep.
right.
Same
But yeah,
page.
Stacey.
Good. That's good. I put down Gary Oldman.
He's good at everything.
Oh, yeah, he's good at
Right,
everything.
He
Even
fixes things. He'd make it better.
everyone.
Could he play Aline?
He could.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, he could do that.
I'm just gonna fix my casting.
There you
he
go.
could handle that.
Let's go to Commander Richard. Who do we have from the year 1992? Stacey, we'll start with you on this one.
Oh God. All right. Went a little more actiony with Bruce Willis.
Willis. Interesting.
I can kind of get behind that.
I can kind of get. I really like one of mine.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Wesley Snipes.
Oh.
I think
I
Snipes would
like
have
that better.
nailed it.
That is.
His-
Yes.
Dorff is the guy with Snipes in the what?
In Blade.
Vampire and Blade. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was like,
So
yep.
there's that connection too.
Genius.
As they end up working
Yep.
together later.
I got Skinny Val Kilmer.
Oh, you put Val Kilmer for Richard.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yep. I got a different Carnby if you went that
Okay.
route.
We'll get there. So for Aline, gotta go with my girl, Sharon Stone.
What are we, BFFs?
And if not, yup.
Yeah.
If not Sharon,
So many
did you put a
activities.
second?
No.
Okay, then you can talk about Sharon Stone. Winona Ryder
So-
at this
Yeah.
time was coming up and was that innocent girl, but could play that extra tough.
She was actually my first thought. We definitely we're sharing a lot of positive energy. I feel like it's the catharsis.
Winona Ryder
I don't know.
was.
It didn't, for some reason, Winona didn't click for me. I don't know if it was because
Okay.
maybe
It
she
might
was
be-
too young to be in that assistant professor role or whatever. I was
Okay.
traumatized by how dumb Tara Reid was in this film.
Uh,
I mean, just so bad.
I think if you put another actress behind it, you definitely get a different performance.
Yep.
So
Right.
I think, especially after seeing her do sci-fi now
Yeah.
with Stranger Things, I think going back she could add a little bit of extra to it. But she had to go through all of that stuff to get to where she is in her performance today. But still, Stacey, who do you have?
So one of the people I was considering was Julia Roberts.
Roberts, I think, is too every girl.
Yep.
To be scientist.
Totally agree.
Okay.
But she could perform the hell out of it.
Look, yeah, I mean, yeah, and I agree. The material's not much to work with. So, like, I mean, we would need an actress of her caliber to actually have it even
do
be listenable.
something with
Every time she spoke, I just wanted to punch my eardrum in with a number 2 pencil. I just didn't want to hear her talk anymore.
She had such
Mark,
great
Stacey,
lines,
they were
though.
great. They were real good. Who do you guys have for Carnby?
Stacey.
Hold on.
Then while you're saying I put Val
yeah.
Kilmer.
You went Kilmer.
Yeah.
I went
All right.
Kilmer,
Okay.
but I also went Bill Pullman.
Stop.
Oh no.
Speaking
I'm
of Bill
stepping
Pullman,
back.
I ran into that man today at the Gelsons.
No, you didn't.
I totally did.
And you're like, who you'd be good for?
You know, I invited him on the show, and right outside is Mr. Bill Pullman. No, but I did run into Gelson's today. That's not bad. Bill Pullman would be great.
I think he's got a similar look. He could pull off that Duster combo.
Yep, I think you could too. I've got a guy who's got a little bit of a nervous energy that I think Christian Slater was trying to put out. I've got Tim Roth. Right, he's coming off of Reservoir Dogs. He's kind of like, he's got like that I know something you don't know kind of look, really messed up,
That could work.
displaced orphan.
Yeah.
I like Roth.
right.
Stacey, who you got?
That's good. I'm pulling out for Bill Pullman, but
Pull out for
originally,
Pullman.
there you go. Originally, I had Keanu Reeves. Let's just make it real ridiculous.
That would go I think that would go the opposite direction.
Real ridiculous.
Because him at that time,
Mm-hmm.
I think that was still
Point Break?
before Shakespeare.
Pre?
This
I
is
think just post.
I think this is around Point Break.
Pre-point.
It's around Point
It's
Break.
like-
So it was like, where is it on the Bill and Ted's averse?
I mean,
of the world?
it's after Bill and Ted.
I'm sure not.
Yeah.
But I mean, his
Because-
breakout was Point Break.
I'm pretty sure it was just out.
Yeah,
was
no,
just
yeah, Point Break
after,
was
right?
91.
Yeah, it
So
would be
this
after.
this would have been people seeing him in Point Break and going, oh yeah, he could do that.
Like he did in what was that very sci-fi or the there's
Mnemonic?
what is
Johnny
it?
Mnemonic?
I love me some Johnny Mnemonic. Philip K. Dick is just a genius. No, what was the film that he did? The Constantine. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was not sci-fi at all, but like just that horror. So if it had more of a Constantine vibe, I could totally see that.
Yeah.
Weird.
Johnny Mnemonic. There's a thought. I haven't thought about Johnny Mnemonic in a minute.
Definitely a
Chain
thought.
reaction?
There we go. Whew.
James knows.
That's a good pull.
James knows his biz.
That's a good pull.
on AfterBuzz on the Lucha Underground After Show. You wouldn't suspect it, but it's like movie reference central. He is on top of that.
I
biz.
love it.
So that's going to be our show. We're going to talk final thoughts before we give our verdict. Patrick, final thoughts on 2005 Uwe Boll directed Alone in the Dark.
This is it. This is the apex of shitty movies that we've seen. I've tried every week. I come in here and try and find a silver lining. There just isn't one, and I hate being this just unmitigated cynicism around a film. But this is unwatchable. I mean, in any context, like historically, you found like, you found a use case. I love this about you guys. You always find a use case when I'm here trashing films. You're like, no. If you have a friend over and he's in from like Montana and he's never seen a movie and this is his first movie, you should start him in with this so it's low XP. You always have some weird edge case in which it makes sense, and there isn't one for this one. And you finally broke me, Donica.
There definitely
Yeah.
is
No,
not.
did
there's
it.
not.
Halloween,
You
you gotta,
chose this.
Halloween, you gotta go big or go home.
You had a sick glee when you announced this one,
You
and
were
now I
so
see why.
excited.
Right?
We were
He
so-
hates
so
us.
sad.
I mean, I kind
I know. Stacey, what about you?
Well, here, do you want my one use for it?
Sure.
You could take a nap during it. This is the only movie that I have ever watched on the history of this show that I fell asleep for.
of. Really?
Yep. And you know what? I didn't even fall asleep during the boring, like, exposition parts. It was the point where they're down underground in the bunker. the point where he sees his name on the bed.
Yeah.
The next part I remember is when they are walking back out.
Arguably the climax of the film.
I actually had to go back
Secrets
and
revealed.
revisit
Yeah.
this film.
Great.
So I had to put it on again to revisit that part. But yeah,
Poor dear.
I lost about 10 minutes. Just could not deal.
It was a happy 10 minutes.
It was peaceful.
Arguably the happiest 10 minutes of the hour and a half that it was. It's really sad when you can't find a silver lining for a
I know.
movie, because you
Nothing.
try to understand the passion. At least with Silent Hill, you could see the director really wanted to do something special with the property. And this,
Yes.
I agree with Patrick at the top of the movie. This is the only one where I can see him. Oh, he makes movies for tax breaks
Yep.
for them to
Yeah,
fail.
he's doing it on purpose.
Or like sometimes we look for passion and we find like there's a reverence for the source material, and that was also
No.
absent. It wasn't even that
No.
that propelled the rest of it. It was just
Even Far Cry had a little bit of something.
Oh, yeah.
But this
Nothing
was
here.
just nothing.
Nothing.
happy Halloween, y'all.
So,
Go
given
grab
all of
yourself a
that,
candy.
we give a verdict on the show whether we dub this, we give this either an extra life or a game over, whether we want to see this series continue or if it is donezo.
You were going to ask?
I mean, surprise, they did make a sequel, but would you want to see, like we've been talking about the entire show, a more scary version of Alone in the Dark. If you make it found footage, if you give us one Xeno and make it like a Blair Witch meets Alien.
So, but my question is to you, then why so I totally agree, and I like where you're going with that, and that's a tremendous amount of like mental gymnastics to fit into an IP where who cares? Like
Yeah.
that movie would be better not bound to Alone in the
Yeah.
Dark. Like I'm sure you could write a much better film. Put this down in the backyard like Old Yeller. Like I dig the score that sounded like it was done on like a 1983 Casio that was purchased at a garage sale. Like I'm all for more of the score.
And the soundtrack was super metal. They had we played
Oh,
Nightwish
yeah.
at the top. Dimmu Borgir, which has no business being in a wide release movie. It's amazing black metal. Lacuna Coil. A lot of awesome metal bands, but why? When we
Not
hear
enough.
3 or
And so
4
poorly
songs in the whole
used.
thing, the soundtrack's like 20-something tracks. It's like, where? Why? Inspired by? Like, no, screw
No,
you.
Definitely was not. That's
So-
a bald-faced lie.
Yeah.
So that's a game over
No.
from Patrick. Stacey.
Yeah, that would be a game over. Even if they redid it and did all of these things that we are talking about, you just cannot separate. Having seen Alone in the Dark and knowing that that is what that franchise is, just let it go.
I'll give it to you. I will
Let it
also
go.
Bye.
let
We'll
it
just
go.
wave together. We'll wave together.
I will also say game over. We've kind of said all we needed to say about this franchise. But before we go, letting you know that next week or in 2 weeks, we are going to be doing Final Fantasy VII Advent Children.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next month is going to be like Final Fantasy month, because then after that we're going to, just so you know, we're going to do Final Fantasy 15 Omen. So we're coming back with a movie that should be enjoyable to everybody. So please, if you want to take part, watch Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. And until then, where can the folks find you?
You find me at Pete of the Dees on Twitter. I'm also I post a video game podcast called Pixel by Pixel on iTunes, and I hang out with these guys. I do a lot of fun. We're doing Ruby, we're doing Crunch Time, we're doing all that good stuff with these guys. So find me here at AfterBuzz.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Stacey Shuttles, or on Twitter, Instagram, and all over the web at Nerds Doing Stuff, where I continue to be a nerd doing stuff.
And I'm the internet's Mark Donica. You find me on Twitter at Mark Donica. As Patrick said, we're doing a lot of Rooster Teeth material. If you're a fan of Star Wars, please watch today's episode of Jedi Alliance. There's a very important announcement at the end. And yeah, we got a whole bunch of stuff happening here at the Popcorn Talk, as well as on our sister site, AfterBuzz TV. But until next time, make sure to watch Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. We will see you at the arcade. Happy Halloween!
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.